All right, welcome back to the Krāv Show, man. I'm so excited. This is so awesome. J. Russ, thank you so much for putting this together. We've got a bunch of really great guys with us this week. We're talking with all these guys that you can see on the screen. I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves in a minute, tell a little bit about themselves. But basically, J. Russ, you guys are all down in Brazil right now, probably just having a great time, like having a lot of fun, getting to jump together, trying to set a record. And so, yeah, let's jump in. J. Russ, take it away, man.
Yeah, I am down in Brazil, and all of the guys that you see other than me and Chris are Brazilian guys. This is sort of the organizing team that put together the record attempts down here to break the South American record for a head down formation, which we did successfully break yesterday. So
Wow.
if you
Yes.
guys
Congratulations.
would, yeah,
So, what is the new record?
54.
54. That's awesome.
Yes.
And what was it previously?
37?
37 to 54. Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. Sorry. Go ahead. That's exciting.
No. So if you guys would, I don't know how to. The Davi, you're first in alphabetical order, and looks like Paolo Perini, then Paolo Perez, and then Vitor. If you guys would just take a moment and sort of introduce yourselves and kind of give a little bit of bio information, you know, whatever you want people to know about you. Davi, you're
Cool.
muted.
Yeah, I can start. So my name is Davi Costa, and thanks, Chris, for having us here. I'm definitely still on the high of the 54 record we achieved yesterday. A bit about myself. I started jumping in North California, and I was pretty lucky because on a random weekend, we had like 6+ flyers who were in the previous world record. So very early, I had like this influence and inspiration to big waves and sequential events. Um, I think 2017 was the big year for me that Andy and Carpenter ran the California record, and that's where I built all the fundamentals of big wave flying, and also had an opportunity to know most of the Brazilians that also participated, and today were part of the organizing team that I was invited to. 2018, I moved back to Brazil and became a part of the Fly On Free Fly team, which organized this event. And nowadays, I live in DeLand, Florida, back in the US. I think I have been to most big wave events of world record since 2017. I absolutely love this, and I really loved being part of this event here and seeing like a bunch of mentors and people who had been part of this journey come here and trust us to build this record. That's me.
Okay, my name is Paulo Perini. I'm 44 years old. I've been jumping for the last 23 years and working full time with skydiving since 2008. And also, I've been working with the tunnel since 2010. So I've been in the industry for the last around 15 years, working, traveling abroad, like doing several events in Brazil and outside of Brazil. And I've been part of the records with Paulo Pires and the other guys, I think, since we start doing the big wave here in Brazil. We had a few previous records, but it was much smaller than these ones that we are doing. So I think that's it.
How many time I have? Go ahead. So guys, my name is Paulo Pires. I started to jump in 2007, and I have 8,300 jumps, about that. And I started skydiving as a hobby, but it was a joke with me, and I got a passion with skydiving since the beginning. My first year skydiving, I did 440 jumps, just don't invest any of my money on training, coaching, or whatever. So I didn't learn anything. I don't recommend guys to do that, the same thing. But after a year only spending money, I started coaching, and I got a passion with vertical jumps since the beginning. Then I started to fly on my seat. Then I went to Arizona to start learning how to fly head down on the tunnel. Jason Peters was my coach at that time, a legendary free flyer that all of you guys know. And then I start to learn how to fly these and get a yeah and got involved with the Brazilian record here in Brazil, which I was end up being cut from that record. And then I start to travel around the world to learn how to fly, how to teach people here. And then we start our story that Paulo and Davi said so well. And now I'm organizing records here in Brazil. We're part of the record 2 years ago. And now we are part of the World Record Organization, which I'm proud to be part of. That's it.
Yeah, so I'm Vitor, skydiving since 2009. I have about 2,000 jumps, just completed last week. Uh, for me, like records are part of my skydive since the very beginning. With around 200 jumps, I participate in a 120 way belly fly record in skydive Paris. So I couldn't fly head down at that time. So my first chance I took it. So we got the South American record in skydive Paris like years ago, and everything changed because I was traveling like to do tunnel like training and watching people like coming from the world record like in 2015. I was in Arizona. Jason Peters was coaching me like, at the tunnel at that time. So once we had the opportunity, like with Prineto on our first like 2016 was the first like bigger head down record in Brazil. We got in touch. He was like at that time like, involved, and we started to travel in 2017. And so now it's like around 8 years that we are traveling a lot, like for all the camps, all the events, head up, head down. I was even trying belly records last year also, and records is part of my 90% skydive. I've been like competing just once, but records all the time.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So that 120 way record that you were on at 200 jumps, that was in Paris. Was that?
Yeah, I was
were
in
any of
Paris
the
2013 at that time.
2013? Were any of the P3 organizers there for that? Do you know Larry Henderson?
Yeah, I just know the name. At that time,
Okay.
it was like South American record. Because we didn't have like so many airplanes here in Brazil, we couldn't make it like here inside. So we were all traveling to skydive Paris to try to break the record. At that time, we
That's
got
cool.
103. Last week also 103. So I have like two 103 records, one head
That's
down
awesome.
and one belly.
At Paris.
Very cool. Super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Cool. So, guys, what's the home drop zone for you guys?
Boituva, probably for me and Paulo Pires, probably Boituva is the main drop zone in Brazil for the last 50 years, probably.
And just to give
Yeah,
people
for me, I
more-
started in Rio in a very small drop zone, like very small airplane. But if you want to like to be a really athlete, like skydiving athlete, you need to go to Boituva, and Boituva is the bigger that we have in Brazil.
Yeah, in fact, I started in Campinas. It was another drop zone, and we had a skyvan. Like we used to have a skyvan in Brazil, so I didn't enjoy a lot because I was like just starting. I think the airplane it broke when I had around 300 jumps, so I didn't take all the advantage of this airplane can offer. But like we had a Skyvan for years here, and this drop zone is not operating anymore. I started there, but like since it broke the airplane, they closed the drop zone, and then I started jumping in Boituva.
And Davi, what is your home, DZ?
Yeah, as I said, I started jumping in California. There, like I jumped a lot at Skydive California, Skydance, and the Bay Area skydiving. When I moved to Brazil, Boituva, as they say, is the main place, and also Skydive Cerrado, which is close to my hometown. And nowadays I live in the land, so Skydive the land, trying to balance a little bit my passion for big waves and angles as well.
Yeah, very cool. And so, what plane are they flying at Boituva?
Caravans, mainly normal and grand caravans, and we have one Kodiak.
One what? Kodiak?
Kodiak, yeah, we have one
Oh, okay.
Kodiak.
A
But
Kodiak.
it's mainly caravan.
I thought a Kodiak, isn't that like a bush plane? Like I thought that was a smaller plane. No.
It looks like a caravan. It's a little bit like the tail is a little bit heavier, it's bigger.
Okay.
It looks kind of a caravan, but it's there's just one here in Boituva. All the other airplanes, I think, is like I don't know how the companies they have in general, but that operates regularly here in Boituva. I think around 5 to 6 caravans and
Okay.
one Kodiak.
How many can fit in the Kodiak?
I'm not sure. 15?
12.
12?
12?
They used to put it 15, but 12 is the number.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking of a different plane then, because the plane I'm thinking of is much smaller than that. So I need to look that up. A Kodiak. Okay.
And
Cool.
for this record, they also had use of a Beech 99, which,
Yes.
if people aren't familiar, it's like kind of a oversized King Air.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
where the King Air has a really small door, the Beech has a door that's kind of on par with an Otter. But it's a low wing plane, and so a couple of interesting challenges there for a formation, and also as the super front floater, that job that I did out of the Beech, it's a lot of prop blast. But
But
you made
but
it.
it was good to have a Beech 99 with us because we used to take off 5 or 6 minutes after the other 3 planes take off because the Beech 99 is way faster than the other caravans, so
Yeah.
it takes less time to us in the lead plane.
Yeah. Sound just like the King Air. That's awesome. Well, so
That's-
I mean, JRS, I've got questions, but if you've got stuff, if you want to,
No, you go first because I did write down questions. And if your questions don't cover them, I will jump in.
okay. So, I mean, just some of the things that I'm really interested to know, like were there any unique challenges that you guys faced? Because it sounds like you guys are all part of records on a regular basis. So this is not something new to you guys. Was there anything for this particular record that was different or unique that you had to deal with? Or like just share with us like one of your favorite memories of this record or previous records. Those are fun to hear too.
I vote Vitor to speak about challenges.
Yeah, I can tell, like, comparing to the others, like some challenge that we have, it's like size of the aircrafts. Usually we jump like using Skyvans or twin others, like, so to make like bigger records, like with these airplanes, are a little bit more difficult. Some of them like are 6 people outside the door. Some of them are 5 or under 7, and some of them we can just like put 12 people because of the altitude that we're gonna go. And we had a lot of divers on the beach, 99. So, and we have 4 airplanes to make the formation. So all these, like, to think about, okay, how we gonna deal to engineer everything for like avoid crossing, to make people like arrive like faster, and to make this formation work, like if it's gonna be like a cross or if it's gonna be an X, how it's gonna be better for the formation using 4 airplanes with all these limitations. For me, it was like more challenging than the others. Yeah, and it's really fun for me because in this record we got some people inside that broke the record with us that got cut in the previous record here. So to see them like participating at this time, like because they improved it, like their flight was super nice because they are really close friends. So at that time we needed to cut them. Okay, you are out of the formation, and I'll see like how fun it was for them like to be part of it. So for me, it was that.
That's cool.
And just adding a little bit on the complexity and get a little technical, if you have like a skydiving on an order, you can still throw like a lot of floaters from the same plane before the base exits. In our case, the base had to be on the door of the plane, and the beach had 19 people. So, for example, the last diver of a trail plane, after they left the plane, we would still have like 5 or 6 divers from the lead plane. And it's a really long dive, very like low ceiling plane. And we really needed to slot those people very effectively to make sure they made to the formation on time. Yeah.
If you were to guess, or maybe you know, the last diver, how many seconds from the time that the first floater, is that what you were doing, J. Russ? Were you the super floater? Is that what you said? So how many seconds from when you left to when the base left, and then how many seconds from the base to the last diver? Do you guys, can you guess on that, or do you maybe you know?
More or less, like so super floater leaves about 5 seconds before the base. The jump takes about 42 seconds total from 18, and the last diver was on level with the base within 10 seconds of working time, and had about a 3-second dock on the last jump. Yeah.
Wow. So J. Russ, you're leaving about 5 seconds before the base.
47s.
Well, there's a camera flyer, Manjan, who was the key for the other planes to leave. I was super front of the door, so I left on set for the base, so like one heartbeat before they actually left. But I don't think we looked at like when the last diver got out of the plane compared to when I left. I honestly don't even have a guess. I don't know if you guys have a guess there.
I have a more or less, I guess it's about like 7 seconds, like
Wow.
between the base and the 6 to 7 seconds and the last diver. But the dive like takes about 30 seconds, more or less. So the last diver like jumps and stay like between 25 to 30 seconds, like just diving, and then doing the approach. And then like on level with the base, he has around 10 seconds to approach and then dock. It's more or less this.
And how many
Far
seconds?
away, far away,
How
because
long do
the
you have-
airplanes like were like so fast during the runway. So the people that were like diving were far away from the formation, and they needed to approach and also.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. That's so awesome. And how long do you have to stay docked for it to count?
One frame.
One frame? Just everybody docked at the same time counts.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
so-
a new rule, right, J-Roz? In the past,
Yeah.
there was like a 3-second rule. Yeah.
So one of the things about a smaller plane, or even, I mean, without getting too much in the weeds, like a beach, the otter stall point is very different than a beach stall point with a bunch of people outside the plane, or even a caravan stall point, even though caravans are great planes. So the otter is able to slow down a little bit more. And so what Vitor is saying is that the ground speed for planes that can't slow down very much, and of course everybody has to stay in formation, so there's a lowest common denominator, so to speak, where if the beach is unable to slow down, the caravans have to keep up with the beach, which means a very fast run in speed. And so not only is it a 30-second dive, but the last diver is covering quite a bit of horizontal space.
Yeah, I think the airplanes, they were at 105 miles per hour.
105.
No, knots, sorry.
Okay.
Not miles, knots.
Okay. So that's much faster.
110 miles. I think. Who's with me when the pilot told us about the speed they were was
Yeah.
you, Victor?
Yeah, I
Was what?
heard 105
Yeah, he told us around 110 miles per hour.
miles. Yeah,
Which,
exactly.
wa- which,
Not
which was fast. But
miles.
one more thing about our last dive, we had the fastest guy in the world, being part of the formation, Sebastian Alvarez, and he was our last diver, and he did his job very well.
Wow, that's cool. So, okay, I have a question. If this is going to get us off track, we don't have to talk about it, but you're saying because the beach goes so fast, right? Its stall speed is much higher. Everybody else has to keep their speed, right, to stay in formation. So, why why couldn't you make the beach trail at a distance so that when everybody exits from the other planes, by the time these people exit, they're over that let the beach close the horizontal gap instead of the flyers having to close the horizontal gap? Can you not do that? Do you understand what I'm asking? Or maybe I'm conceptualizing it wrong.
So, like, if you have a lead plane, the other planes have to be looking at it to fly relative, right? I think would be. I think it's an interesting idea, but I think it would be very complex for the pilots to get
To
this right.
figure it
And
out.
also, like, with all the planes is still in relationship to each other, it's already very hard to time right. Like every jump's a little different. If we
Gotcha.
had like a plane flying through, I think I think that
We
would
just
be very hard
overcomplicate
to
it.
get right. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Chris, I think we talked about this at some point in the past, but there's a huge safety problem with a low wing plane and a high wing plane and the visibility between the pilots. And so for a low wing plane to overtake as the lead plane, and even momentarily lose sight of the a plane that's at a lower altitude presents a huge safety problem for people that are diving out because there are spinny things that are potentially underneath you that are going to end your life. So, that I think that would be a tough complication to overcome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, usually the pilots already try to be flying information at least like 5 miles prior to exit point so that they can like be really nailed down.
Yeah.
So, can one of you guys, because most people, even formation people, are going to be a little bit surprised if they saw the video of the pilot shuffling at 17,000 feet. So can somebody just say that logistic difficulty that you guys had to overcome?
Yeah, like what was happening, like here the pilots, like in some areas, like in skydive Paris, if I'm not wrong, when they take off to go on the runway, they do like a straight line and then like 90 degrees, and then they come. Here they need to go like doing rounds because of the space that they have to climb up. So they do like a lot of rounds. Most of the time, the lead plane takes like his position, and all the others they go from inside the curve. So to avoid having like the same formation during the entire climb up, they have like all the even if it's 10, like last year we had like 10 airplanes for the belly record that they attempt here. So we have like the lead plane going up and all the airplanes like uh, from the inside of the curve. In this case now, like the beach was like taking off like 5 minutes later. So the guy, one lead plane we had, and like two other we have like following him, and sometimes at 14, sometimes at 15, uh, beach was arriving so fast, like from behind everybody, and taking the lead, and the guy was like going under, going to the other side, and they like approaching again. So they do this like very well here. They are very used. Like sometimes we do camps during the tryouts, and if they want to train, like there's one lead plane and another one. The guy stays like in this side, on left side, and then he moves to right side, left side. Like he like because they need to look all the time. So when the guy start to feel pain in the neck, he moves like to the other side and then start to look to the other way. So they train very hard for this. Like and they do very well. Like sometimes they are super close training, and we need to ask them, okay, it's nice to have like that close, but for safety, you can move a little bit out. But they can like play with the airplanes very well here.
Yeah,
But
one thing
I
that
want to.
sorry, one thing that I think is interesting here is that they have the same pilots for many years, and they always fly together. They don't take like remote aircraft and remote pilots to join a crew for the first time. So they have a very cohesive team, and that speeds up the record process because they don't have to learn to fly together.
I don't know if anybody took video of what I was seeing because I was right in the inside of the beach door. But as these guys said, the beach is a lot faster. We would catch up with the three airplanes in formation, and then what Vitor said. I've been on a bunch of records, and the planes are always in tight formation. But it was even a little bit shocking for me to see the lead caravan that had been the lead slide underneath the beach, and at the top of the arc of the propeller of the caravan was maybe 10 feet from the bottom of the beach. Like they passed very closely. And as they said, these guys are confident, they're comfortable with each other, they know each other very well. But it was even a little bit startling the first time I saw it of the planes passing that close together. Okay, so Chris, you got more questions?
I mean, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
no, you go.
Well, I want to just give these guys a chance to talk about sort of a little bit, Mr. Perez, of the history of free flying in Brazil and South America generally, because I know from discussing with these guys that the four people that you see here and maybe most fundamentally, Paulo Perez had a big hand in creating the free fly community and developing the skill sets in South America that had led to this record. So I just wanted to give you guys a chance to talk about sort of that development.
I can
Paulo, this
definitely.
is your chance.
Yeah, yeah. I think uh, the key to change things here in South America was the vertical training program we have here, because we start as a group of flyers, as I said, trying to learn how to fly, and then which is something that I have proud to say. Vitor and three other friends. Vitor is one of the best flyers in the world, in my opinion, and also one of my best friends. So it's a huge pleasure to me to have him as my first group teaching people, and they asked me to coach them because Vitor was looking for the first South America record, which was in 2016, organized by Luis Prineto, because at that time you have no idea how to do this shit. Now we have Vitor and Davi as our engineers. They are amazing doing this. And I mean, they are amazing because we have so much problems here in Brazil compared with Europe or United States when we are organizing our things. And and then after coaching Vitor's group, uh, more and more people start to ask me to coach them. And then suddenly we are almost 50 people talking about vertical things here. And then we create a group. Uh, and then after we got our first South America record in 2016, me and Paulo Perini, we have decided to try to organize our first Brazilian record, which we couldn't uh, get a record because at that time we need people that was no longer interested in big way. Old free flyers that they were more looking for fun jumps instead formation, big ways, and training camps. And then we couldn't get that record. And after that record, I have decided to, and I told to Paulo Sperini wife that I will coach people until I don't need any any free flyer in the world. I will coaching people until I have a bunch of people able to get a record without needing one or two good or old free flyer. And then we create the vertical training, and we used to have 7 to 8 camps per year, which allow people to learn to fly formation since their first foray until the world record, because all the guys from South America who is participating in the world record process, they were coaching in the vertical training program we have here in Brazil. And we used to have same coach. Used to be me, Paulo, Vitor, Davi is not living in United States, he's not here, but when he was here, he used to be a vertical training coach as well. And we also have a Jean, who is not here, but he's also part of the team. Uh, and he was one of the first guys to be part of this team. It was uh, me, Jean, then Vitor, and Humberto, who unfortunately is not here with us anymore. Then Davi, then Paulo come back from France and was added to the group as well. And now we are still training people, preparing people, and teaching people. And we are also always learning because this new formation is completely new for all of us. Now we are learning how to do and how to teach people to do this new formation. Yeah, but I think the key for South America was the vertical training program, and when people are able to since to learn since the beginning until the big ways. Yeah.
Um, Paolo Perini, uh, I'm curious how you feel about the new engineering from Matt with the spine and ribs, and what your feeling was about, was it hard? Was it easy with respect to the skill sets that you had to work with in the record? How did you feel about just the engineering and how it's going to work, not only for you, but for the 200 weight coming up?
Just a second. It's working. Yeah, I'm back. Um, for me, it's the first time that I've flown this kind of formation. Like I didn't travel abroad as the other guys. Like I didn't go for the Californian record or anything. So for me, it was interesting to see the way it works. It looks easier. Like I think if you have like good flyers, the ribs, the grip side by side, I think it was a little bit easier to fly and to show and to give the grip for the person to come and to fly. You have like specifically slots that they are super technical. So for sure you put like a more technical skydivers for fly these slots because you can have like a leg, some bubbling around. But I think what it flown super nice from the previous records that I saw it with some of the guys that maybe in the old formation maybe they would have some problems to make the pods to present the grip. So I think it was super nice. And it's gonna be, as I said, I think I told you I never been the world records. I think my international record was the Euro record 2009. Since then, and the head up world record last year. Most of the other records that I did was only Brazil. So I think it's gonna be super interesting to see 200 people flying this formation. For sure, you have the Daisy as a core, as in the head up record that it worked like for me perfectly. It's super nice to see the central structure of the formation really flying solid, and then you see like all the lines just building behind. I saw the picture of the 200 way. It's gonna be like a much bigger ribs and lines, but I think for sure, like seeing the previous world records, I think there's a big chance to work super nice.
Davi, Chris, and I mean all the other guys know, but I'm going to tell Chris and anybody else listening. Of all the people here today in this group, I think Davi is perhaps the most focused on like the minutia of the jump, like the speed, all the finer details of data points is Davi's favorite thing. What speeds were we at, Davi, for the jumps?
Cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a data geek.
Look at him smiling. When you started talking about data, he just
Yeah.
started smiling and light up, man. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, one thing that always bothered me in big ways is like, oh, the jump is too slow, and then you have some people that are actually like good flyers, but like struggle on those speeds, and sometimes like even like lost their place in the formation, uh, with a combining consequence of their skill set on those speeds and the fact that the base was slow. Um, it was pretty interesting to learn from Matt that good base speeds have been around 185 and 195 miles per hour. We try to give that metric at 10,000 feet because even if you don't change your body position, with the air density, the base slows down as they're falling, but it's not necessarily harder to fly. And I was impressed in this record. The base was super consistent. We had the first jump at 192, and then we had 195 every single jump after that, but one. So we are on the higher end of the speeds that we consider comfortable, but it proved to be very good for most flyers. Yeah.
And how many attempts did it take y'all?
Yeah, so this was actually pretty cool. It only took us 6 attempts to get the record. On jump 5, we had only one person out. I think on jump 3, we already had like 2 completed sectors. And that's without like pre-jumps. Like some people nowadays only count jumps that everyone can grip or things like this. We didn't have like any sector training before the record. And we had 2 jumps that not everyone was allowed to grip, but 6 jumps, this is everything, all the process that took the record.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. And the formation that you guys used, will that formation just kind of plug right into the world record or not? Not really. It's, I mean, it's similar formation, but not a piece of that formation. Do you understand what I'm asking?
You were asking like if you're gonna use like part of the formation with the same people on the 200 or the structure and engineering.
Yeah. So what I'm asking is like, let's say you've got the formation of the world record, the 200 way or whatever. Okay, the formation y'all did in Brazil, was it one section of that formation and y'all just copied what you're going to do in the world record, or you made your own formation that's similar to what the world record uses, same style, but is that more like what it was?
Yeah, same style because like formation for the 200 way is divided like into there's the core that they call daisy chain, 40 people, and outside there's like spine and ribs. Because we don't have like we could try to do daisy with 40 and just 18 people outside here, but it's like requires more experienced flyers to build the daisy chain. So we built a base, 8-way base, and 50 people outside on the ribs, on the spine and ribs. It's pretty similar to the world record. World record will be like more ribs and like more people in each rib, but it's like the concept and everything are pretty much the same. Just the core, the 54, the 40 people like inside, it's different, but on the 200 way, it's going to be 40 inside and 106 outside doing lines, ribs, and spine. So like it's pretty much a same concept.
Nice. Yes, that's exactly what I was asking. Very, very cool. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the inner 40 that Vitor is talking about is there's a couple of things that are additional to that, in that it needs to be pretty good flyers, like probably all the four guys you see here are going to be in the inner 40 when we get to the actual 200 way, because it has to be people who are solid flyers, very aware. They can get there really quickly because we need to build that 40 way in, you know, I don't know exactly, 28 seconds, somewhere 30 seconds, something like that, so that the people can then build up. So I think Paulo Perez is planning for to be a base flyer, and then probably the other four of us will be somewhere in that inner 40. And it's a little bit more technical flying. Like if you've seen Spine and Ribs, Chris, basically the daisy chain is where the person who's the last person on the rib connects to the other spine, and so it gives a little more rigidity to that inner 40, and maybe more importantly, it gives symmetry to the group, so that as the spine and ribs work their way out, they have a chance to build where there's not pinch points, because the inner 40 was a symmetric formation.
Okay. We need to, at some point, JRS, we need to get some drawings on a episode of the podcast and like actually go through, because I can visualize some of these things that you're saying, but not all of them. And I think people would be interested to kind of dig into it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, well, Matt Fry, they asked Matt Fry, who's one of the main organizers, Matt and Rook are the main organizers for this 200 way. Matt was in this event. And so I don't think it was just me. Like, he showed you guys the 200 way drawing that he's got. Is that right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's out there. I don't think it's set in stone, but I'll try to get that from Matt and see if I can share it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
So Matt was down there with you guys?
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fun.
Um, any of you guys, I guess I was pointing this kind of at Davi, but I don't know who did all the registration stuff. Do you guys have a feeling for how many countries were represented here in your South American record?
11.
Okay. Do you know them off the top of your head?
Yeah. And we lost Mexico and Turkish. There was two more. But unfortunately, last minute cancellation. We lost some friends. Then we replaced them. One of them was uh, thanks Davi, because he was super happy to be here with us. It was Lenny Roger, because we were not sure about to give him an invited, but after our last tryout, we could see that we need more good flyers to build this formation, and then we give him an invitation, and he was super happy to be here with us.
So, Paolo, we
I
had.
can.
Oh,
Sorry, I can list all the countries real quick if you guys want. So yeah, we had a few people from Mexico invited that couldn't come, unfortunately. But we have quite. Where was it? Belgium, United States, Chile, Argentina, um, France, Colombia, Paraguay, Panama, and Brazil. That was it.
90.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost two. Yeah.
cool. And so, uh, guys, what do you see? I mean, all of you are going to the 200 way. Um, and after the 200 way, what do you guys see? Is there a goal that you guys have talked about as far as the future of South American flying, or Brazilian free flying? Is there a goal kind of in the back of your mind, like, oh, we want to do this next, a head up record or a sequential record, or just building up the school? Like, where are you guys headed?
Uh, we have two options. We could try to organize a head up record here in South America next year, but I am mm, I'm more interested to keep doing head down formations here, because the people was asking us to keep it doing. It was funny. After we got the record, people immediate after land, they were asking us to open the vertical training manifest. so they they got a record, and 2 minutes later they were asking us to open the vertical training manifest, which was funny. So with next year plans would be a sequential record. We had a one organized by Matt Fry last year, which was amazing. And yeah, we're probably organize a sequential record, and maybe if you have enough Brazilians here, we can do a head up Brazilian record here. But yeah, probably we're gonna organize a sequential record here.
Can you guys? I don't know who exactly is best to answer this, but you guys had some sponsorship for this record. Can you talk about who your sponsors were, and maybe why did they choose to sponsor this record?
Yeah, I can try to explain how it works here, more or less. So we already have like some events here, like sponsored events. How does it work? Like there are, if you have a big company, instead of paying tax direct to the government, you can like pay for like or sponsor some sports, some athletes. It's common like in Brazil, but it's need to be like very uh, concrete like process to build this like it's a project that you need to present to the government, that you have like athletes, you have like this that you want to do with the money. So you go there, you find a company that instead of paying direct tax to go to the government, he pays like he sponsor the some sport. It happens not just in skydiving, it happens like in every sport here. So now we have like our big friend Rogério that is like into skydiving, full into skydiving. He has like two skydiving schools and try to like make it happen. Like he really enjoys like the sport, and he has like very good like contacts with companies. So there's one guy that is also a skydiver, has a big company, is the one that is opening a big tunnel in Brazil. We have now a 12 foot, and we're gonna have a 16 feet tunnel next year. It's a iFly technology. So this guy that is putting the tunnel, like opening the tunnel, it's also a skydiver. It's a belly flyer, has these companies and everything. So he's also sponsoring the this record. And the promise is that like Rogério wants to continue to do it. Joca, that is the guy, wants to continue to do it. So probably if we do like everything fine, like all the counts we present to the government, we do like everything fine, and it's a success. We're gonna continue to be able to do this like in sponsorship like way of event for the future. Not every year, maybe, but different events, smaller or bigger. Is it working here? Also, the belly flyers, they're gonna do like the record attempts this month. It's also the same way. You do like just pay a fee to register, and all the jumps are sponsored the same. A different company, different project, but it's working pretty well. Like for the last 3 to 4 years.
And guys, can you say Rogerio is a drop zone owner? He's in Boituva. How many drop zones owners are at the Boituva drop zone?
20, more or less.
All in the same drop zone, all using the same aircraft, all using the same landing area. 20
Yeah,
businesses.
I think I don't know. I've never seen this be in any place. In Rio, there is a drop zone. It's the same. It's Resende. But only in Brazil that I've seen this. Like it's one drop zone with many like skydiving schools. Yeah, we have two aircraft companies like with some airplanes running the drop zone, and 20 maybe, I don't know, something around that. uh, with all tendons, AFF, and all different. Like we also have like you guys have USPA. We have like three. One is CBPQ, the other one is a BPQD. So sometimes it's hard to organize everything, but it's working. Like, it's a huge like they produce a lot of tandem jumps. Like by the, I remember someone telling me like years ago that the world record about like number of tandem jumps in a drop zone was in Boituva, something around like 590, something almost 600 tandem jumps in one day. So it's a big.
It's
That's
22
insane.
schools.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Well, I'm interested to hear if you guys have any like favorite memories or stories from this record. Any stories that stand out to you?
I just want to say that Rogerio is the guy that owns and sponsored this. I forgot my hat one day and it's quite sunny, and he gave me a hat to use. So this is Rogerio's the name of his business. But
I
okay,
have
now
one good
favorite memories.
memory. I have one good memory from this record because one of my biggest friends is my AFF instructor, Alex. So I know him like for 16 years. And it's a type of guy that is like always happy because if everybody's happy, he's happy. Like in the Cali record now, I was docking on the Daisy, and the person that was docking is his son. So his son is now living in US, 22 years old, Pedro Carneiro. So his father was my AFF instructor. I was docking on him on Cali record, and he was texting me say, "Oh, we're gonna make history. My best friend and my son like gripping together. Oh, go there! I am so happy." So because he's like old school skydiver, 30 years skydiving, he struggles a little bit like in the formations. It's not like for him like it's not an easy process for him. So he has been with us like sometimes inside the record, sometimes it got cut, and now like I was going like on the airplane thinking about all these friends. Let's say not just him, but we have some other friends that struggle a little bit, still struggle a little bit. And I was like just thinking, so now like to be like with him part of the record and other friends, for me it's all about this, was super special because it's a dream for him that is so special. Like his son now is getting better, like on the world record, and now he's like part of something bigger, like seeing the legends that he was seeing like 30 years ago, like Sarah, Steve, Jay Russ, João Tambor, another Brazilian that was like super special. So for him, like for him and for other people to see like all the other athletes that were never in Brazil. Like we brought friends that we always see like every month or every 2 months. But for people in Brazil were special because they see like great athletes are from around the world, like coming here to their drop zone and jumping with them, like having conversation was super nice.
That's very cool. That's a great story. What any others, man? That's awesome. Thank you,
Yeah,
Vitor.
I'd like to say some uh, a few stories. One including Alex. After our last tryouts, I was driving home, and then I stopped on a gas station, and then I met by surprise Alex, Sika, and another friend of us. And they were not invited to the record, and they know that they were not invited to the record. And then they asked me if they could be part of the warm-up jumps 2 days before we start the record. And then I told them, you have to be here because we probably have one more slot because one of our best free flyers here, he's also a freestyle machine. He broke his hand, and unfortunately he was not able to be part of the record. And then today they were today or yesterday, I don't know, they were talking about that because after our dinner at that day, they have decided to come to warm up. They were invited to the record. One of them was invited to be part of the base, because on the first day of our warm-up, we had a problem with two really close friends, and one of them ended up out of the record, and the other one, it's a good memory for me because he used to be in the base, and he's a really good guy, and we were trying to say, hey, you can do it, you can do better. He was like not believing in himself, and he ended up being part of the record, which was amazing. And I had only two more things that I'd like to say that make me feel happy to be part of this. One was Magali Breath. Yesterday night, she called me and she said, hey, we are not going to the world record. And then I asked her, why not? No, because of 2018, 22, 2022, blah, blah, blah. And then Matchfire asked us what he could do to try to convince us to go to the world record. And then she told me that she told him the answer is this event because now we are super happy to be part of this. We are super happy with these people, and now we are looking to the world record in, and we also already bought our tickets. So they are going to the world record. They are very good flyers and really close friends of us, and I'm super happy to have them being part of the world record. And last one is that one more time I have my son with me getting a record, being part of this. Uh, Always flying very well because he's a machine. And yeah, it's a moment to celebrate forever because share a passion with a son or a family member or whatever. It's a huge accomplishment for me and for my family. And yeah, this is it.
How old is he?
He's 28.
That's awesome. I have four boys, and the two oldest ones are uh, old enough to start skydiving. So I'm excited about getting to jump with them.
So before you go, Davi, I just want to add for the people who are listening who might not know some of the names that Maggie and Steve Braff are Belgian skydivers. They own a tunnel in Belgium, and they're actually the people that put together the European 100 way that happened. Was it last year, 2 years ago? Um, but very very significant sort of people in the scene of European skydiving. Super super good flyers, and some of the people that were probably a little bit burned out from the 2018 and 2022 records where we didn't actually get the records. And then through Paolo's event and seeing the success of the formation have been kind of reinvigorated to come to the 200 way. So for everybody, all four of us or all five of us that are going to go to the 200 way anyway, it's really exciting to hear some of those people get their energy back for, hey, we have a chance. We can do the record. So Maggie and Steve were great to hear that they're going to rejoin us.
Cool. Yeah, I wanted to share one more story that I think was very touching for me. Through the warm ups and the event, we ended up having four less friends than we wanted on the record jump. And after we landed and we're very happy with what we had just accomplished. We wanted to bring those people back into the formation, and I announced the name of one by one, and everyone cheered for several seconds to welcome them back into the formation. We knew that it would be way harder to get the formation with four more people and more divers out of the lead plane, and the next jump was a bit chaotic, and we had this internal discussion: should we do another jump? Should we not do another jump? And in the end, we decided that we were going to go for it. We gave everyone a second chance to finish the event in a great note and to just enjoy that last jump and smile and celebrate the record and the week together. And the jump was great. Everyone landed so happy. It was like sunset lightning. And for me, that jump was just as much fulfilling as the record jump itself. Yeah.
And for me, it's just like it's always a pleasure to do records, as Paulo said, but with my wife. Like she was part of the record also, as in the head up record and some previous records. So I know she loves records also. So it's always nice to share with her and to see her happiness when we are accomplishing together the records.
That's so awesome, man. All like those stories, I think that's more fun for me to hear than the technical stuff or even the fact that it's a record, but just hearing those stories of, oh dude, that just sounds so awesome. Like your sons, your wife, the people that you got to include at the last jump, Victor's story. Oh, dude, it just sounds so great. Like that. I haven't been a part of any records, but when I hear those stories and like I see you guys smiling as you're telling those stories and thinking about those people, that makes me want to be a part of that type of stuff because that just sounds so awesome. That sounds super, and that's so much of skydiving, that the relationships and the friendships that we build. And I don't know, just like I get in the plane and we're riding to altitude and I just can't help. I'm like, we're getting to skydive, you guys. Like, we're getting to jump out of an airplane. It's so fun. I look down on the ground. I see these cars driving down the highway. I'm like, I feel so sorry for those people. They don't even know what they're missing. Like we get to skydive. It's just so great. And like this, that I get to connect with you guys. We've never met before. You're halfway around the world, and yet we have something that we care about together, and we can be friends because of this weird thing that we do. And it's just so great. I love it. I just love it. Makes me want to come down to jump with you guys in Brazil.
So on that note, Chris, I was kind of directing this to Paolo Perini because Paolo is currently the general manager of the tunnel in Brazil in Sao Paulo. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. But today, Paulo Perez introduced me to the other sponsor of the event, and he is opening a new, bigger tunnel in a different part of Brazil. And Paulo Perini is also, I believe, going to manage that facility. Is that
Yes,
correct?
exactly.
So, and the last thing that I kind of wanted to touch on, and this is all of you guys, but Paulo Perini, if you can give us a little bit of information about sort of the tunnel and the building process, when you expect to be open. But then I know a few of you will probably have some input on the owner would really like to make Brazil a central location for training in the world and is trying to work towards that. So if you could, Paolo, if you could start, and then if anybody else has to add, that would be great.
Yeah, in fact, like the tunnel is already paid. It's just like now we are taking the license, the authorization to start building, because the tunnel, the 16.4, is gonna be a part of a big complex where it will have like another attractions. It's gonna have like the biggest climbing wall from South America. They're gonna have a wave pool. They're gonna have theaters, like restaurants, shops. So the tunnel is gonna be part of this huge project. So we are expecting, I believe, more for end of 2026, because at the end of this year, we are opening another tunnel in the south of Brazil. It's just the 12 foot, the same as we have now in São Paulo, but it's going to be ready at the end of the year. So I think the bigger one is going to be at the end of 2026. And the guy, in fact, like Joca, that Vitor said, he's the CEO of a big investment bank. And under this investment bank, they have like a company that it calls HIVI, that they have like different actives from in the segment of entertainment. So they are investing a lot in Brazil, not only with iFly. They bought iFly, so they have like we are a franchise. We were a franchise. We start as corporate when we opened the tunnel here in Brazil, and now since 2018, 19, we became a franchise. And so Hivi, they bought 90% of the iFly group in Brazil, this franchise. So now they are developing the tunnels as with their attraction. So they have like a different place for entertainment in northeast of Brazil, south. São Paulo, Rio. So they have a big expansion project for iFly to put different tunnels. And the guy, as he's a passionate for skydiving, one of the reasons that he wanted the big one is because he has an A2A team, so a belly team. So he wanted a place that he could practice his A2A team and not like a travel abroad all the time, like spending weeks outside of Brazil. And also he's have a project for 2027, 28 that we're gonna have also the world meet, not only in skydiving but in tunnel also. He wants to do the world championships in tunnel here in Brazil. So he wants to create like this tunnel as a training center for South America for skydivers, because we have like probably the biggest drop zone in South America, the busiest one, and now we're gonna have like one of the biggest tunnels in South America. So the guys are really passionate for skydiving, and as he really good businessman. As I said, he's a CEO of a huge investment bank, and under this investment bank, they have different like actives, and this Rivi is one that's investing a lot, as I said, in entertainment in Brazil. So I think it's a project that's gonna work like pretty well.
That it sounds a lot like Flyaway Tennessee, doesn't it,
The what?
J-Russ? Yeah. There's
different
some
project.
there's a couple of guys here in the United States. They're in Tennessee. They're putting together some investment stuff for something similar.
Nice.
Yeah, so Paulo Perez introduced me to that gentleman this afternoon, specifically because he wants to have different groups of coaches that start to basically commit to bringing their groups down to Brazil. And he wanted a VFS or a free flying commitment, at least in idea from me. And he's already, I believe, Paulo Perez, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he said they have commitments from Airspeed. Is that correct? And was there a French team that he said he's got a commitment from?
I don't know. I don't remember the name, but I said something about the French team.
I think it's about the four-way. I think it's Elliot Poté. I think if I'm not wrong, it's
Maybe Airbus,
yeah.
maybe no.
I think it's Elliot Poté because it was a good friend when I was living in France, and he was training the French teams there. And I started a conversation with him about it, and I think they just like a follow up, and they keep talking with him. I'm pretty sure maybe it's him.
So, as an outside observer coming to Brazil, it certainly seems like the four guys that we're talking to right here have had a tremendous influence on changing the overall landscape of South American skydiving that will continue into the future of a new tunnel and basically trying to make Brazil a hub of the world for competition and training. Is that fair to say, you guys?
Yes, 2027. It's gonna. I think if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure it's already like approved that we're gonna have the world meet skydiving here in Brazil, 2027.
That's
awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah. All right,
Well,
guys.
what else you got, J-Russ?
Anything else? I think that was the end of my notes. Oh, I just wanted to note, especially who's Rogerio, the guy from the hat. His wife is Argentinian, and today Paulo Perez tried to. He didn't try. He helped organize a record-breaking attempt for Argentina's national record. They had 14 people from Argentina that were. Most were part of the South American record, but they tried to break an Argentinian record. Apparently, there's a little bit of good-natured rivalry with Chile, whose current record is 13. And there were several Chileans on the South American record that I don't think they were hoping that Argentina didn't break the record, but certainly were not disappointed to see that they didn't get a 14-way. But for Martina, who's the wife of Rogerio, something to shoot for in the future. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the end of my questions, guys. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to add about anything we've talked about, or anything else that you want to let the world know about about Brazil or South American skydiving?
I just would like to say two things. One is about our friend Raji, which we have a pleasure to follow his entire career since probably his first big wave. And I admire that guy a lot because his life was not his skydive life. It was not easy. He had to fight to get an opportunity to be part of the big wave. I remember some some or several camps that I was being part that I've seen him flying very well, and he was not invited to 2022 record, and then he was invited on the last tryout. Uh, yeah, he mentioned us when he was here talking with you and Jez and Chris, and he was saying some good things about us, which we appreciate. And I have a pleasure to say thanks to him in person in Paris 10 days ago. And yeah, last thing, I would like to thank all of friends who travel to Brazil to being part of this project with us. As I said yesterday, they were not definitely here because we are organizing a 50 something way because it's one more big way for most of them. But they were here because they support us, because we are friends, because we have a really good relationship, and because it's not about the record, it's about the journey. That's why we are here. That's why I'm keep doing this. That's why I'm keep uh, motivated to see people uh, makes their dream come true. And what we are doing here, this record, and being part of the world record, um, next, the next world record, it's our lovely friend Umberto dream, and we are super happy to make this dream come true. And yeah, all of this I I would like to remember him, and I wish he could be here with us and join this moment with us. And thank you very much for the opportunity to talk a little bit about our projects, records, and stories here.
Yeah, of course, man. So glad to have you guys. You other guys, anything else that we missed or that you want to, that's on your mind?
Yeah, I will quote Alex again. Like someone asked him yesterday, "Oh, how did you feel? Like you got the record?" And the answer was, "Oh man, the record like was only 2 seconds. The best part was like 3 years, like training, having dinner with friends, like coming here, watching people traveling, like see people struggling and achieving what they want. So I've been traveling with these guys like for many years. Like with Paulo, I've been in Dubai training. Like he was coaching me in the tunnel. Dubai, Russia, Poland. With the other guys, I've been in Europe and US for many times. So for me, it's all about friendship. It's a celebration. The record is a celebration. It's like a competition that everybody can win if everybody's in the record. So for me, it's super nice like to see everybody, like people that were here visiting us was not just here because of the 60 way, because most of them they have like 100 ways. They were here because they were our friends. They came to visit us. Like it was so it was a pleasure for me. So it's all about friendship and like achieving something like together with so many people.
Just
Very
a few
cool.
words. A few people that came to the record and it was a sponsored record asked me like, man, like you can't stop this. Like this was great. When is the next one? And I want to help make this happen. Like, can I donate some money? Can I do something? And I'm like, no, I'm very thankful that you're here. I just hope that you can tell your friends how great this event was, and I hope that we can do something even bigger, better, or even if we just have the same exact amount of fun. I still like to repeat this. So yeah, I hope this is marks our story in big wave formations in South America. That's it.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right.
I know.
Paulo
Hold on, I
Perini,
got one more
anything
thing.
else?
Paulo Perino, you have anything?
No, just thank you guys for the opportunity. It's awesome to be part of the podcast, and also again share the sky with my friends.
I only wanted to add that Rogerio, who's on the hat, today, I think today, maybe yesterday, but he asked me, Jason, can you please find out for me? I want to buy a Skyvan. Can we get a Skyvan in Brazil? Please find out if one is for sale. So in addition to the tunnel, in addition to the guys that you see here, there are other people working hard to make sure that South American skydiving is a big part of the community.
All right. Well, you've done it again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to the Krāv Show with Chris and J. Russ. Thanks for joining us, guys. Paulo, Vitor, Davi, thank you so much for joining us. Like, really awesome to meet you guys. Glad to have you here. Congratulations on a new record. Fantastic. And man, I really hope that someday I'll get to jump with you guys. That would be super cool. In the meantime, awesome. Everybody get out there, have fun with your friends, jump out of an airplane, enjoy the sky, laugh, smile, have a good time, and Krāv, do more, be better. Thanks, you guys. See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.